Hello everybody, let's do a how the side quest works for January. So what you're doing is your ritual, and then once you've done your ritual, you're then going into the vault. Very simple, but there's also a little bit more to this that meets the eye. And of course what we're going to be doing is a walkthrough into that particular difficulty doing those fights, and as well going through the process, because that's the walkthrough of kind of explaining stuff. So go into the solo event and you're picking up your Kimoyo beads. These Kimoyo beads can be got 16 times. Well, why 16? Well, when you go into the ritual, you're able to, at the end of it, and it's broken at this moment in time. I don't know when this is actually going to be fixed, but this is meant to be a Deathless Sigil. The Deathless Sigil, once you've collected it, will allow you to go into the Vault of Strength. Now, I don't know if there's going to be multiple different vault types, and it kind of feels like that should be the case, especially with what you pick up from going on it. So you're going into here 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. The 16 Kimoyo beads that you get access to. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? You can see all the different rewards that are lined up right there. This, unfortunately, does solidify a theory which I had at the start of this coverage of this event. If you remember, I did a weekend based video that was kind of looking at some reservations about how the event actually works, and it is a little bit weak source on what you actually pick up from it. So not on the objectives, because that's a bit different, but on the vaults themselves, the volume of things you pick up, which of course you pick up the Deathless Sigil as part of kind of going through, which is going to be relevant for some other stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. But some of the other kinds of results of the rewards on exploration is a bit weak on the volume. I hope that Kabam bumped that up, because 4,000 7-star shards there for the entirety of the month, and you can see in game right now that there's 1,000 right there for threat level 5. And something that I recommend to everybody is do the highest difficulty you probably can. Possibly can, as in the threat level. So like threat level 5 for all the different difficulties. Maybe not so much for the one that's, the Deathless Ritual, but again, it's up to you. And Mysterium, what you pick up from it, and I don't know if that's going to be fixed because it looks a bit weird and wonky. Mysterium can be got from the blasphemous materials, which you can see on screen there. That's one of them. There is the Void Conqueror, King Groot, and then there's like before death crystals as well. These I think spice up towards the end of the month, so that's going to be better for it. But yeah, there's probably a lot of questions you probably have as to where's the rewards spiciness? And I think that's reserved for other content on at the moment, like the Glorious Game Showcase, which I'll be doing a video on at some point. There's a lot to cover. And of course, we've got other things on at the moment, like the Deathless Mausoleum. So there's a lot of content about to go and grind, but we're going to be focusing our attention in this video, of course, on the side quest. So now that we've got our beads, we're going to enter into this quest. You'll see that there is a limit or filtering to certain champions, which this week is Cosmic and Mystic based champions. I would love to use Juggernaut, I really would, but I like his SP too, and unfortunately it's broken. Although I do have I've kind of double-edged Liquid Courage Masteries on, so maybe I'll just SP3 rotate with him. Should we do a bit of fun with that? No, I don't want to risk it, but I do want to use some of these champions. So getting right into the action as we enter here, we do see Mysterium, and at the end we see, there it is, the Deathless Sigil, ladies and gentlemen. That lovely thing right there. Actually looks pretty cool. Anyway, let's get through some of these champions. Guardian on here is a bit of a red flag. I would avoid Guardian as much as possible because that is the bugged fight. And make sure as well, Nimrod, if you go up against Nimrod or Spider-Ham, that you do avoid them and go to different champion options to fight. So for me, I'd largely go, I don't know, Mysterio, then I go Hulkbuster, and then up to Heimdall, and then down. So let's do some of these fights, and then we'll kind of go to the vaults after this. I completely forgot I had double-edged Liquid Courage Masteries on because otherwise I would have switched back to my other mastery setup, but I'm going to go back into Arena over the weekend, so I'll see how the Alliance Will Showcase works out with double-edged Liquid Courage Masteries, and see if they actually pack a punch or it seems like a bit of a silly thing to do. I feel like the screen's darker as well. Yeah, there's like some dark elements to it. It kind of puts more emphasis on the center. Maybe that's part of the Deathless aesthetic that Kabam want to put in. Either way, I don't think you're going to have a lot of problems going up against this. Maybe packing in certain champions that are going to be like helpful that do, I don't know, shock immune like here. But it's the double-edged liquid courage masteries that are going to be doing a bit of damage for me here. I will probably recoil a bit of damage as well, depending on what the AI is doing. I was thinking, are they actually going to throw then? Come on, come at me, bro. There we go. That's good. I can start ramping around my SP1 again, and we're back in. We're going to do a little cheeky relic, and it's all over. I like these masteries. I just a bit worried about using them in other bits of content. So that's Guardian avoided. You can put boosts on if you think these fights are a bit too difficult. Maybe you're trying to go a bit higher with your grind, and maybe your limit is doing something like threat level 4. Maybe putting on some boosts, especially free with a super daily, could be a good option to kind of go and do this. Anyway, I didn't click for a heavy attack, and I just did a random heavy attack. That's not scary in the slightest, but hey, Deathless Guillotine for the win. Good class advantage right there. Sorted. We head out over to grab the Deathless Sigil, and then we're going to go into the vault, so that's fun. And it looks like in the process we end up doing some of the objectives as well, which is nice. There are other objectives as well associated with this. And going back again to 100%, is that going to mean something? It might do. It might do, but we need to go into the vault, shall we? The vault's a little different in that you only get one champion to use. Now, in the spirit of I love my champions, I love that, like, you gotta be so careful about what you're choosing and what's going to be beneficial. Maybe this is something I'll expand and do a video on, I think, to go, what are some of the best champions to go against some of these bosses. Also, I don't know how sure I am about Juggernaut being in here and Kabam's, yeah, maybe wait until next week when the hotfix goes in to avoid that fight. You could give it a go if you're a bit crazy like, and I think you can reset the path if things don't go so well. So maybe you could like avoid that if you kind of like don't get the one shot. Looking here, what do we got? Trial by fire. Do you know what? Without reading too much into it, because if I take an Incinerate immune that does energy-based damage, then effectively I am triggering off this. Yes, there's the window of opportunity stun and unblockable specials, so I don't want to be hit by an SP2, but I'm just gonna use Hulk. You know, am I gonna lose a Deathless? Probably. I'm gonna lose Deathless Sigil. Well, I might lose Deathless Sigil. We'll have to see. Just got the champion's got energy resistance, and they're right off the bat don't hit a block. That's not good. That's definitely not good. So screw it. I'm going to go balls to the walls and use Hulk. Now, the nodes don't really kind of correspond with the usage of the champion. If I was being honest and taking a little bit of time to kind of reflect on this, probably not a good idea. Don't do a parry, because that's part of the nodes. As part of window of opportunity, do not do that, because you're going to get hit. So what I'm going to do is just step back, not actuate my parry just yet, but stay into a block. And then I'm going to fire out from it. I wanted to see as well how much that Incinerate ticks for. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't tick that bad. Especially if it rank 3 7-star. Don't recommend it otherwise doing this particular method. It is very risky. And you've got to be careful. Because if you make a slip up like that, and that was a slip up, that ain't good. I do throw in a stun there. I don't know if I advise that. Maybe I should have done an energy resistant one. Probably not actually. It's fine. Yeah, you just got to be careful, because you get rooted. You just got to be careful with your rotations, and as long as you're good with your rotations, boom and look. It's always important to look. Big SP2. Not so bad SP2. Just watch whilst in the root. Otherwise, I wouldn't have used this champion. It's just fine, really. Nothing really to worry about. Hulk for the win. Any champion seems to do, but you've just got to be careful about reading the notes. Energy. Because the champion was energy resistant, if I used an energy champion, I literally would be signing my own death warrant. So as long as you read the notes, there will be a plethora of champions to use. I'll try and do a little video at some point in the next few days that goes some good options to take against these champions. Champions that work effectively. But I need to test them. This is one fight, and I didn't use the correct champion. What is the correct champion nowadays? A lot of time it's just champions you know, champions you can use well, and also that bend the nodes a little bit. But forewarning, at the end of the quest, of course, you get the path that you want. We chose the 7-star path, and that's what we picked up as a result. You can go in and survey again, which is good for me, because it means I can just plan out what team I'm going to be using, but a bulk of your rewards comes from there. More rewards come from the objectives, which you can see we've picked up Void Conqueror right there for King Groot and destroying him, which is great, and we used a Saga champion. Make sure to have a look at your Saga champions, because I think those are the ones that you can only use going into Vault of Strength. One of the best things to do is go in there, edit your team, and see what's available. But you know, they give a bonus, they give a boost, like an anchor boost in Marvel Rivals. Very much on brand. Okay, so that's going to be it. That's how the side quest works from it. Of course, there's more rewards in other places. Go back into Death Metal, go and do that one, because again, that's extra rewards from it. More Kimoyo beads can be got from this as well, so we can collect some more. And you'll be able to collect a certain amount, it seems, for the for a length of time. Before I can imagine, quite possibly, they'll be like, you can only collect a certain amount, and then it's like with week 2, because we're on week 1 of Ritual, so there's going to be a week 2 to follow up. Anyway, that has been how the side quest works for January. I'll be having a spreadsheet done. I'm working on it right now. It's in motion right now. I'm working on it. Probably when I get a few more like videos and other types of elements covered for this month, including an Alliance Wars showcase video, I will have it out for you to see. So look out for that. Thanks very much for watching. Check out some other content which will be located on screen. Support the channel. I'll see you soon. Much love and goodbye.